Edward Donald is one of the most efficient investigation officers. His wife died 6 years ago while giving birth to his only daughter, Sophie. He didn't marry after her death, and he dedicated himself to taking care of his daughter. The story began when Edward woke up one night to a phone call from his workmates. They informed him of a murder and told him that he must reach the crime scene now. He changed his clothes and made sure that his daughter Sophie was asleep, and he got ready to leave. He reached the crime scene, which was in a large compound city, and saw that the police cars had reached the place before he did. The crime scene was an apartment on the ground floor, surrounded by a garden. It seemed really easy for anyone to get into such a house. The first thing that came to his mind was that the crime had been committed for the purpose of robbing the place. He saw it that way, a luxurious house in a large compound city full of expensive objects, surely a tempting target for any thief. The medical examiner's assistant shook his head, saying, "No, the crime isn't for the purpose of robbery." When Edward entered the apartment and reached the room in which the dead body was lying, it was full of blood. The murder had been committed brutally. Edward has been an investigation officer for many years, and he has seen a lot of murders, but only this time he wasn't able to look at the dead body because it was of a 10-year-old child. The information he got after some investigations is that the apartment in which the murder had taken place was occupied by a man and his 2 sons, Adam and Martin. Adam was 7 years old, while Martin was 10. And their mother died a year ago after the house had been on fire. It seemed that the apartment had a problem because many fires had happened in it, and the liable gas company seemed to implement the maintenance for the place carelessly. The man has filed a reparations lawsuit against the company, and the company offered him money in return for waiving the lawsuit, but he refused. So maybe the company had tried to push the man to accept, and maybe they had threatened him. But could this lead them to murder him? That's too far. A sergeant called at him, making him lose his train of thought. The sergeant pointed at another room whose door was open. Inside the room, there was another dead body. A man was brutally murdered and hanged on the ceiling from his neck by a long rope. Beneath his dead body, there was black dust similar to cemetery dust. The whole thing seemed to be a retaliation committed by some brutal people. Suddenly, something caught Edward's attention. The bloody footprints of a child. A footprint stopped in front of the closet. He wondered how did none of the investigators notice this. Edward approached the closet and opened it, expecting to see another dead body, but instead found a living boy inside, trembling and holding his breath. Edward got him out of the closet and cuddled him. He tried to comfort him to make him feel safe and tell the story. He took the boy to the office room and sat with him alone. The boy became calm, quiet, and unconcerned, but he continued to look around the room.
"What's your name, sweetheart?"
My name is Adam.
You have seen what happened, Adam, haven't you? Don't worry, I know you're sad about what happened to your dad and brother, but you have to tell—
I'm not sad. They deserve what happened to them.
What did you just say?
I didn't love them. None of them loved me.
A crazy idea began to come to Edward's mind. Could Adam be the criminal? The nature of Edward's work makes no one above suspicion. However, he kicked the idea out of his mind. It's impossible that a child commits such a murder, and the kid is too weak to carry the body of a grown man and hang him from his neck. Edward wanted to understand, so he continued asking questions.
Why didn't you love Martin? Wasn't he your brother and you used to play together?
No, I didn't used to play with him. I used to play with Bego. And even Bego recently I became afraid of him.
Who is Bego? Is he your friend?
Yes, I told Mom and Dad much about him and they used to not believe me and call me a liar. Bego used to get taller and taller till he was reaching the ceiling, and he was so black.
Edward wasn't able to understand the boy's words. What kind of friend is that who is getting taller? It was as if the child was hallucinating or having an imaginative thought. However, he had to continue listening to him because he wanted to know anything that might lead him to the truth, so he asked Adam to tell him about the first time he saw Big O. The boy said that one night he was asleep and suddenly he woke up to somebody covering him with a blanket. He thought that it was his father, but when he focused, he found a black creature with long hair. His hands were long, reaching the ground, his eyes were lit in the dark, and his nails were like hooves. The boy yelled and ran out of the room. He told his mom about what he saw, and she told him it might be a dream or something and to get back to his bed. When he returned to his bedroom, he found that the creature had disappeared. But when he got on the bed, he felt that something was under it. And when he looked, he saw the creature's hands getting out from under the bed. Big O made the closet his favorite place. He used to sit inside it and knock on its door. Edward started to write down in his notebook that the criminal is a dark-skinned, enormous, tall, long-haired person. That's all he understood from what the kid told him. Edward got out of the office room and left Adam inside with the guards. He was trying to pull his thoughts together, an apartment on the ground floor in a compound city. People inside the compound city thinking that since there is a fence surrounding the city and there are guards in front of its doors, they can leave their windows open without worrying about anything. Since the guards didn't see or feel any person from outside the compound city, this criminal might be one of the neighbors or guards. While he was thinking, one of the sergeants came with a woman. The sergeant said that this woman is their neighbor. Her name is Mrs. Amanda. The first sentence the woman spit out was,
"I saw the murderer.
How did you see him?
I'm used to spending the night on my balcony, which is in front of Adam's room. The room's window was open, and I saw him standing inside.
Can you describe to me what he looks like?
He was tall, but when he walked towards the bedrooms, he seemed to be short."
What do you mean? Is he tall or short?
"Is this woman crazy?" This was the first question in Edward's mind while he was listening to this woman, because her words were contradictory. He took a statement from her and let her go. He then felt a terrible headache, so he went to the bathroom to wash his face, but he didn't stop thinking, can Amanda, their neighbor, be the murderer? He thought to himself, she might be trying to distract me by making the wrong statement. While he was thinking, he felt something move behind him. Additionally, the bulb's light became unstable. It kept turning on and off. He turned back quickly and saw a large shadow, and gradually the shadow's face and body features began to become visible. The creature looked horrifying. His hair was long, his hands were also long and reaching the ground, and his body wasn't that of a human. He started to move closer to Edward. Wait for the second episode of this story next Sunday, and don't miss Wednesday's story either. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of the Midnight Screams family. Also don't forget to like and share the video with your friends. And if you have a horror story or other terrifying experience, you can send it to the email address in the description. Wait for me every Sunday and Wednesday with a new animated story, and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. I love you so much. Have a nice day.